And Matt, I know you've been talking to some senators. What are you hearing?
I'm hearing that everyone knows on the Republican side in the Senate that they got to get this done. After the failure on repealing and replacing Obamacare, everyone feels the political pressure to get it done. But, Griff, the next question is they also feel some responsibility to get it done right. So behind the scenes, there is a flurry of activity.
Well, and getting it done right to that point, Matt, so you've got at least 6 senators expressing concerns from everywhere from the deficit to the individual mandate as well, or Senator Johnson concerns with the way that small businesses are being treated. How do Republicans get to 52, or how do they get to 51 in getting this past the finish line?
Well, Lisa, I think that you're right with those 6, and there are others that obviously are expressing some concerns more privately. And I think the key for Mitch McConnell is just to get to 50 and have Mike Pence break the tie. It's a real shame that Democrats are just refusing to play any significant role on this in the Senate. Lisa, what's amazing, if a few of these Democratic senators from red states would actually be involved in this tax bill, they could get so much of what they wanted. But because politics is playing big these days, they're just not doing it.
So, Matt, the president has had public feuds with what he called Little Bob Corker, Jeff Flake, John McCain, and others. Is this a personal thing, or is this on principle?
Well, I've come on your show and talked about, like, Bob Corker and the personality conflict with President Trump. I have to say that I'm convinced that Bob Corker is working very constructively to try to make the bill better, and I think there's a very good chance that he supports the bill in the end. John McCain obviously is in the fight of his life, and that seems to overshadow previous promises, which I can't really blame him for. So I think he's a definite wild card. Susan Collins is a definite wild card. She has really dissembled on some big questions about Obamacare, and we actually don't even know she's for tax cuts now. So Matt, I think those are 2 of the biggest problems.
Matt, what about Senator Ron Johnson? He has been the only confirmed no. He is upset that the pass-through will unfairly favor corporations over small businesses. Where do you think he is at this very moment?
Well, first of all, Griff, he's got a really good point, which is under this bill, C-Corps, or you might call them large corporations, get a massive tax cut, which I'm totally for, from 35 to 20%. But pass-throughs in small, which is like 90% of small businesses, don't get as generous a tax cut. So what Ron Johnson is saying, let's take a few more steps to make sure we tax small in the realm of where we tax big, and then you'll get his vote. Ron Johnson wants to be for this bill in the end. I'm convinced he's doing everything constructively to get there, so I think they get him in the end.
So Matt, let's talk politics. What are the political implications of failure for Senate Republicans or Republicans at large?
I don't know, Lisa, kind of like catastrophic, I guess. It's pretty bad. There's so many changes going on the Republican side, as you all cover every morning. The coalition across the country is changing a lot. If the Senate cannot get this done, I just think the Republican Party doesn't go away, as people predict. It just means that there'll be a more upsetting to the order of things and more new voices, which some people really like. I think it's the reason why Republican senators are really trying to get this done. They know necks are on the line.
Go ahead. Mitch McConnell, you may be asking about this. Yeah. Mitch McConnell, privately, publicly is different than privately. Privately, how many senators would vote today for Majority Leader Mitch McConnell?
I think you'd be surprised that he's in a much stronger position than you might think, because here's the big issue, and I've heard you guys talk about it this morning on your show. Mitch McConnell is doing the job of trying to make the best of a very diverse conference. If Mitch McConnell goes away, the next person who steps in has exactly the same job. Remember when John Boehner, conservatives were criticizing John Boehner, by the way, for a lot of correct reasons, and then Paul Ryan said he'd step in and do the job? Paul Ryan finds himself in much the same position as John Boehner. So you can rearrange who is in your leadership, but it's the dynamics of the conference that change. What we really need is a change in the dynamics of the conference.
Matt Schlapp, thank you very much for joining us. We will find out. Perhaps Mitch McConnell's future hangs in the balance on tax reform. Only time will tell.
Appreciate it, Matt. Thank you.
Matt.
Thanks, guys.
Coming up, they may look